A breathless courier bursts into the manor, clutching a sealed letter bearing the king's seal. He announces that the monarch has summoned the Lord for immediate judgment. The household shivers as the dire news spreads. Moments later, the clang of steel rings out as Lord Kirk's dragoons crash through the manor doors. Soldiers flood the hall, rifles raised, hunting for the accused. Panic erupts as the estate is overrun. The courtroom hushes as the venerable Lord Chief Justice, his beard flowing, reads the charges. He declares Captain Blood guilty of treason and orders him sold to the Spanish as a slave. The verdict echoes with the thud of the gavel. In a shadowy dockside market, Blood is inspected like livestock by a Spanish merchant. Stripped of his coat, he is bound and marked as property. A silent crowd watches as the once proud captain is led away. Deep beneath the fortress, Arabella Bishop is thrown into a cold cell. Her auburn braid falls over her shoulders as she steels herself against the stone. She knows her fate is tangled with the chaos above. Under the cover of night, Blood gathers a trusted few around a trembling candle. He sketches a bold scheme to seize the guards' weapons and slip out of the yard. Hope glimmers as the crew listens, ready to risk everything. Off the sun-baked shores of the Caribbean, a band of cutthroats lies in wait. Their ships skim the water, ready to pounce on any unsuspecting prize that drifts by. The sea itself seems to hold its breath for the raid to come. A massive Spanish galleon rolls into view, its cannons booming as it rounds the island. The crew throws the shackled convicts overboard, sealing their fate as cargo for the crown. The air fills with the clatter of iron and the cries of the captured. Among the chained convicts, a sharp-eyed leader steps forward, Captain Blood, a lean, muscular man in his mid-30s with dark shoulder-length hair, dressed in a weather-worn navy coat and a crimson sash. He whispers a daring escape plan, and the rebels' eyes light up with hope. The murmurs grow louder as the seed of rebellion takes root. The Spanish commander, Don Diego, storms into the room, late 30s, broad-shouldered, black-cropped hair, a scar cutting across his left cheek, clad in a polished steel breastplate and a matching crimson sash. He demands Blood's surrender, but the captain meets his glare with a calm defiance. The tension crackles as two fierce wills lock eyes over the spread of the map. Blood pulls out a sealed letter bearing his sister's name, his grip tightening as memories flood back. He vows to keep her safe, even if it means risking everything on the high seas. Loyalty to family becomes the fire that fuels his daring scheme. Pedro Sangre, the brutal overseer, steps forward, early 40s, hulking, shaven head, a scarred face, dressed in a dark leather jerkin with a blood-stained red bandana. He threatens the prisoners with his iron-cold whip, demanding absolute obedience. Blood meets Sangre's menace with a steady stare, ready to defy the tyrant at any cost. Tortuga sprawls before us, a haven where the rule of law dies at the dock. Blood and Levasseur walk its rickety piers, taking in the raw energy of the pirate haven that will soon become their launch pad. Levasseur charges forward, his crew slicing through the night to seize the Spanish prize. Blood watches, ready to turn the raid into a stepping stone for a bigger plan. Blood confronts the captors, demanding a king's ransom for his captured comrades. The Spanish hesitate, but the pirate crew's resolve is unshakable. A cunning snare is laid for the prized galleon Milagrosa, its route mapped and its crew unsuspecting. Blood and Levasseur prepare the ambush that could turn the tide. The Milagrosa sails straight into the jaws of the trap, cannon fire erupts, and the unsuspecting crew is caught off guard. Blood's plan unfolds with brutal efficiency. With the Milagrosa under pirate control, treasure piles high as the crew loads the spoils onto their vessels. Blood's daring gamble has finally paid off, securing the fortune they needed. Blood gathers his most trusted men once more. Levasseur, his loyal quartermaster, steps forward, ready to plot their next daring move together. A street-smart thief named Jean and a battle-hardened pirate called Miguel strike a pact, each seeing the other's talents as the key to outsmart the Spanish forces. The king's seal stamps a fresh commission on the paper. England's crown officially tasks Blood's crew with serving the realm in the Caribbean. Hostilities flare as Spanish galleons appear on the horizon, their cannons primed and flags snapping in the wind, signaling a direct clash. King James officially grants Blood a privateering commission, giving him legal permission to seize enemy vessels and their treasure. Blood leads his sloop into the fray, and the crew's volleys tear through the Spanish treasure fleet, turning the tide in their favor and securing a massive haul. As the Caribbean flames of conflict grew, King Louis of France saw an opportunity. He granted Captain Blood a letter of marque, officially turning his fleet into French privateers. The seas buzzed with new orders and fresh blood. French envoy M. de Rivarol sailed to the Caribbean to seal an alliance with Blood's crew. He offered supplies and safe harbors in exchange for shared loot against the Spanish. The pact promised a united front. The Spanish stronghold of Cartagena came under relentless bombardment. Blood's fleet joined the assault, threading through cannon fire to breach the walls. The city's fate hung in the balance. For his deft diplomacy, M. de Rivarol received a Medal of Honor from the French crown. The accolade recognized his role in binding the privateers to France's war effort. He accepted it with modest pride. When England entered the fray, King William III issued his own letters of marque to Captain Blood. The English crown now counted him among its sanctioned privateers, expanding his reach across the Caribbean. Arabella Bishop charges the deck, her blade flashing as she fights alongside Captain Blood. Together they turn the tide, seizing the enemy vessel in a daring, close-quarters clash that will be remembered as her final stand. From his lofty hall, Governor Harcourt signs a harsh edict, declaring all pirate activity illegal and ordering a fleet to crush the rebels once and for all. Blood meets the governor's armada head-on, his voice steady as he defies the royal decree and vows to protect his crew and the innocent. The two fleets clash under dark clouds, cannon fire rattling the air as Blood's crew fights for every inch of freedom on the rolling waves. Using a ruse and the hidden reef, Blood lures the enemy flagship into a deadly trap, turning the tide with a single, brilliant move. With the enemy fleet routed, Blood and his crew recover the treasure, securing their freedom and cementing their legend across the Caribbean. The monarch himself, King James, extends a royal pardon to the once outlawed captain, promising clemency and a chance to lay down his swords. The offer carries both hope and the weight of political intrigue that still swirls in the Caribbean courts. Blood bows to the crown, accepting a knighthood he never asked for. Though honored, the title feels like a shackle, reminding him of the bloodshed that earned him this uneasy peace. The crew erupts in cheers, toasting their newfound freedom and the promise of safe harbors. Laughter echoes through the room as the men picture a future far from the gallows and gunfire. With the pardon secured, Blood sets sail for England, his heart a mix of anticipation and lingering dread. The Atlantic winds carry him home, but the shadows of his past cling to the hull. Arabella steps back into her family's estate, the doors opening to a warm embrace that has waited years. Tears of relief mingle with the quiet joy of finally being home. Alone with his thoughts, Blood pores over the pages of his life, weighing the sins of piracy against the loyalty he showed his sister and crew. In the flicker of the candle, he finds a fragile peace with the man he has become. The last echo of cannon fire fades, and the islands finally breathe easy. Trade routes reopen, and the once scarred ports welcome merchants once more. Stories of the daring surgeon turned pirate spread from tavern to tavern, swelling with each retelling. In every harbor, a name is whispered: Captain Blood, the man who turned oppression into legend. Centuries later, the story still flickers in candlelit rooms, inspiring those who crave freedom. The legacy of Blood endures, a reminder that one brave heart can reshape history. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Take Break, turn on notifications, and share it with a friend who loves a good story.